The Man Who Sold America, the true story of Jordan Belfort. He turned a penny stock scam into millions, spent less than 2 years in prison, and then Hollywood turned his crimes into legend. This is the wild story of Jordan Belfort, the man who fooled America and somehow got rich again, telling the story of how he did it. And maybe the craziest part? People still cheer for him.
Bayside, Queens, 1962. A working-class neighborhood where dreams were small and ambition had a ceiling. But Jordan Belfort was different. He wasn't interested in ceilings. At age 16, while most kids were chasing girls or grades, Jordan was chasing cash. He started selling Italian ices on the beach, 2-for-1 deals, referrals, anything to move product. By the end of that summer, he'd pocketed over $20,000. While his friends spent on cars, Jordan enrolled in dental school. Until the dean said, "If you're here to get rich, you're in the wrong place." Jordan stood up, nodded, and walked out. He wasn't there for smiles. He was there for success. After college, Jordan launched a door-to-door meat and seafood business. He sold frozen steak out of his car, sometimes melting in the back seat. It was messy, chaotic, but profitable, until it all crashed under bad debt and worse logistics. That's when he realized something powerful. It wasn't about the product, it was about the pitch. If he could sell frozen meat, he could sell anything. Next stop, Wall Street. The birth of a wolf. Jordan landed a job at a brokerage firm, a real one. Suits, quotas, snooty bosses, and cocaine in the bathroom stalls. This was the 80s. Fast money, faster egos. He learned how to talk, how to sell, how to manipulate energy over a phone line. Then came Black Monday, 1987. The markets crashed. The phones fell silent. Jordan was fired. But where others saw ruin, he saw possibility in penny stocks. Tiny, obscure companies with sky-high commissions, 50% per trade. Same pitch. He picked up the phone and changed everything. His voice became a weapon, his confidence hypnotic. One call and he'd sell thousands of dollars worth of worthless stock. A kingdom was born. Stratton, Oakmont, the empire of illusion. Jordan found his partner in chaos, Danny Porish, a fast-talking hustler with no boundaries and no brakes. Together they built Stratton Oakmont, a name that sounded like old money, but operated out of a strip mall. Their recruits weren't finance experts. They were bartenders, dropouts, hustlers from the neighborhood. Jordan didn't want experience. He wanted hunger. He created a system, a ruthless technique known as straight-line persuasion. No hesitation, no doubt, just sell. Within months, phones rang off the hook, money poured in, confidence became currency. They sold hope dressed as opportunity, cheap stocks hyped to the moon and dumped before reality hit. It was called pump and dump. At Stratton Oakmont, it was called Tuesday. The party never stops. By the early 90s, Stratton Oakmont wasn't a company, it was a circus of excess. Luxury cars lined the parking lot, champagne flowed through conference rooms. Money meant power, and power made gods out of men. Jordan lived like royalty, yachts, mansions, private helicopters, the works. But behind the glamour was a machine built on lies. While investors bought dreams, Jordan was buying time, hiding millions in offshore accounts, using couriers to smuggle cash disguised as gifts. The FBI saw something different, a storm brewing. The fall of the wolf. As the firm grew, the red flags multiplied. Investor complaints poured in. FBI agent Gregory Coleman began to piece together the truth, tracing wire transfers, fake shell companies, and cash withdrawals that screamed money laundering. When agents finally raided Stratton Oakmont, it was over. Desks flipped, documents shredded, chaos. But the FBI had what it needed. Jordan's empire collapsed under its own greed. Even then, he tried to move money overseas, and that one recorded call sealed his fate. He faced decades behind bars, But the salesman in him wasn't done selling. He cooperated, turned witness, and traded information for freedom. The result? Jordan Belfort, the face of one of the biggest scams in American history, served just 22 months in a minimum security facility. Redemption or reinvention? In prison, he met comedian Tommy Chong. Jordan told him everything: the lies, the yachts, the insanity. Chong laughed and said, "Write it down." So he did. Out came The Wolf of Wall Street, a memoir dripping with wild stories and zero regret. Hollywood turned it into a global blockbuster starring Leonardo DiCaprio, directed by Martin Scorsese. It broke records, audiences roared, and Jordan Belfort, convicted fraudster, became a cultural icon. But the victims never got their money back. Teachers, veterans, families, all left behind with losses and no closure. He was ordered to pay $110 million in restitution. Most of it still hasn't been recovered. Yet today, he's back in the spotlight. A motivational speaker, podcaster, selling motivation instead of stocks. He teaches others how to succeed, the same word that once ruined lives. Final chapter: the question we don't want answered. Jordan Belfort turned fraud into fame, crime into a career. He didn't just survive the fall, he monetized it. And maybe the reason he got away with it is because deep down, we didn't really want him punished. We wanted to be him.